I want to thank the member for Robertson for your contribution and your references to door knocking. I think we can never do enough door knocking, whether you're humble backbenchers in opposition or on the other side, or you're the Treasurer. And can I suggest that the Treasurer do some door knocking this summer, and not just door knocking in his electorate and other electorates of houses and households, but that in particular he door knocks small businesses. I think he might learn a lot. And I think he might, if he does that, spend a different task this summer than he did last summer. I remember in February reading the Treasurer's essay. It was dated the 1st of February 2023, so I take it he wrote it over summer. It was an interesting essay. It referred to Greek philosophers and the painting Guernica in Spain, so I can only presume he was wishing he was in Greece or travelling through Spain. And it also made him become quite a radical. He said things like this. So we shouldn't just it's not just our economic institutions that need renewing and restructuring, but the way our markets allocate and arrange capital as well. He then criticised the neoliberal model and had all sorts of radical ideas. And that was quite an interesting insight into the Treasurer. But let's judge the Treasurer on his record. So at the end of the year, how has that essay played out? Well, there's 3 records that were broken this month. The first is, as revealed by the Shadow Treasurer, the OECD revealed that Australian households suffered the largest decline in real per capita household disposable income of any advanced economy, the largest, down 5.1%. Compare that with Chile, up 5.6%, Spain, up 6%, and the US, 3.5%. But there was 2 other records that we broke. We saw the lowest rental availability among our peers, 0.9%. Now, that number is a percentage of the stock that is available for rent. Of course there's a rental crisis. It's the one thing the Greens actually get right. There is a crisis in rental and housing accommodation. And compare that to 6.3% in Singapore and Hong Kong. Now, no one who's been to Singapore and Hong Kong would say they're struggling for supply there. They've got a lot less land than we do in this country, but for some reason we can't build the stock and have the housing available for people who need it. And then number 3, The Economist. The Economist, not exactly a right-of-centre magazine anymore, it ranked number 1 Australia for entrenched inflation. Number 1. So that's 3 records. Doesn't bode well for this essay. So can I suggest a different essay should be produced over summer by the Treasurer? And if he turns his mind to small business, ask, what is it like to start a small business? If I have some capital of my own or some from a bank, how do I start a small business? Well, let's turn to some of the obstacles. We've seen in this parliament the Closing the Loopholes Bill, which runs to 278 pages, and it's got an explanatory memorandum of 305 pages. Well, how's that helping small business start a business? It's got a definition of casual that runs to 3 pages. It's got a definition of employment that runs to 7 pages. We talk about productivity and competition, but these are productivity and competition killers. Now, that's 278 pages, 305 pages, on top of the 1,098 pages of the Fair Work Act. Tell that to a small business person or an aspiring small business owner, how they're supposed to start a business. But then I'd take the Treasurer to the Corporations Act. It runs to 3,661 pages. The Income Tax Assessment Act, it runs at 11 volumes to 4,842 pages. And then we've got the GST Act at 655 pages, and on it goes. So you have to ask yourself, and the Treasurer should ask himself, how can aspiring small and medium business owners think that this is a good place to start a business? You know what's going to happen. They're going to go to their financial advisor. They're going to say, it's too hard. Put your money in property. Put your money in an exchange-traded fund. What will that mean for this country? What will that mean for this country where right now 42% of people employed in the private sector are employed in a small business? 42%, compared with 34% in a large business. So when you add together small and medium businesses who employ people in this country, the economy doesn't work without them. So I implore the Treasurer over this summer to do some reading, to do some door knocking, to write another essay, and to write another essay where he puts himself in the shoes of aspirational Australians, aspirational families, aspirational future small business owners. The generation of this economy relies on him doing a new essay and doing his homework over summer.